Hey guys, it's Gaz. Welcome to the Warframe video. So today we'll be talking about another new Voxelaris Arcane, and this time we'll be talking about Magus Overload. So what this one does is at maximum rank, it will cause your Void Blast, so your melee attack as your operator, to stun robotic enemies for 3 seconds, and once they're done being stunned, after those 3 seconds, they will release an electricity pulse from where you Void Blasted, or wherever the enemy is, for 60% of their maximum health to anyone within 20 meters. So a few things about that. What we can discern from reading this description is that 60% of their max health. So the way robots are in this game is basically all of them have health and shields. So for example, the anti-MOA has 500 shields and he has 50 robotic health. So when we blast him with our Magus Overload Void Blast, it's going to be doing that 60% of 50 at base. So it will be terrible against this guy because it's going off of his health amount, not his shield amount. But there are certain enemies, certain robotic enemies that have equal health and shields, or in some cases, more health than shields, where this arcane will be amazing against them. So one of those enemies is some of the Fortuna exclusive MOAs. So this is a good example of one. The Terra Elite and Bator MOA. Let's quickly show what it does to this guy with the arcane, and we'll just put invincibility on just in case. You know, this is the annoying enemy that actually drops all the bouncy pads, so let's just avoid those actually. Okay, so there he is. Look at his big red health bar. That means it's health. We're gonna hit him with the arcane, and he's instantly dead. So because he has more health than shields, the way it scales with the electricity damage modifiers, we actually are able to one-shot. I'm going to quickly put that on screen for you. So this is straight from the wiki, by the way. I'll link the electricity damage type description in the description of this video. So robotics take an additional 50% damage from electricity, which is what the Magus Overload does, is electricity damage. It has a neutral modifier against shields and proto-shields, which are the kind of shield types that these Corpus robots have. A Grenadier Machinery also takes an initial 50% damage from electricity, but they usually have armor, and armor is a factor in this electricity pulse, so you need to keep that in mind. So this is going to be an anti-robotics kind of arcane. Using it against anything besides robotics is going to be completely useless, so let's quickly show what it looks like with an anti-MOA, since we were discussing that. I'm also going to show it against an arbitration shield drone. As you can see, they have more shields than health, but it also seems to be not doing the damage pulse on the arbitration drone either. So I guess they thought about that before we did, guys. So that does not work on the arbitration drone the way we want it to, or very well at all, to be honest. All right, so here's the guy. Look at how many shields he has. That's like most of his health bar is shields, honestly. So he blasted him, and it did basically nothing. So against these kinds of robots, it's pretty terrible. So I would not recommend using Magus Overload against robots like that. Just use like normal weapons and just like one-shot them with the Redeemer Prime. Okay, so that's a couple of them. We're going to actually show how armor is taken into account as well with an Oxium Osprey, which is another robot. So like I said, this is only good against robots, but armored robots, like, you're still not going to want to really use it against them in the first place. So this guy has robotic health and shields, but he also has armor, which makes it where there's a bunch of damage reduction in play. Alright, so it honestly wasn't that bad, but we could honestly just have one-shot him with our Redeemer Prime anyway, so maybe it was going to be like a 3-shot. So I wouldn't recommend it against Ospreys either, but part of the cool thing about this one is that depending on how many enemies you hit in a single blast with it, it can actually do some pretty good scaling damage. So it was bad against 1 Osprey. Let's try it against 8 Ospreys, see how that goes. Also, they're only level 125 right now, but it's going to be a pretty similar situation at level 160. Alright, so it did pretty bad against 1. Let's put them all together with Nidus. Alright. Boom! So yeah, if you hit a bunch of robots with 1 Void Blast, it actually takes all of those damage numbers into account when it releases the final pulse. When you are Void Blasting with this, you have to wait until the initial electricity blast goes off to start another one. So keep that in mind, that you only have 1 energy blast going at a time. Let's quickly do it in an arbitration drone, just so I can show how underwhelming that is. Where are you? There you are. Okay, so it did like 200 damage. The aftershock pulse didn't even go off. So yeah, they definitely made it so it does not work on these guys. See, like I can even spam it, and since it's waiting for the other pulse to go off, and the pulse doesn't happen in the first place, it's pretty terrible. So yeah, there's very, very specific situations where I'd say that this is useful. Mostly I'm going to say toroid farming, because most of the enemies you're going to be able to one-shot with this are going to be those Fortuna-only MOAs. So for example, the one I showed earlier, the Ambador MOA, you can one-shot those. That's the unelite version. So yeah, this is one of the only robots you'll be able to one-shot reliably is the elite Ambador MOA because of the health to shields ratio they have. So that's the only place I'd really recommend it. Maybe toroid farming is the place you could bring this. Because like if you shock this MOA and there's a Corpus dude next to him, it's going to do the electricity damage from that MOA's pulse to the enemies near it. So that could kill like a good group of enemies if you have a good Void Blast going off. Maybe with Nidus. I'd say Nidus is a good frame to use this with. So yeah, I'm going to show it against Arachnoid. The spider bots in Fortuna, it does not work. So that's the long and short of this, is that it does not work against these Arachnoids. A lot of stuff doesn't work against these Arachnoids. But yeah, it's useless. Don't bring it there either. If you're going to bring it for toroid farming, just like one-shot the bouncy pad MOAs. Don't even worry about these guys. These enemies are annoying as heck, by the way. The good thing, the reason I'm level 125 right now as the cap is because these guys cap at level 125, and I wanted to test it on them. But yeah, I'd say just bring a Mesa to fight them and hope that the abilities for her aren't bugging out, because they're just annoying. Okay, and then it also does not work on the Prophet Taker or the Eidolon, even though they are coded into the game as robotics. Okay, guys? So yeah. Also does not work really well against the index enemies because a lot of them have armor. Actually, basically all of them have armor in addition to shields. So yeah, that's the general gist of what Magus Overload is doing, guys. I'm going to say definitely don't pick it up unless you want to one-shot very specific enemies in the Orb Valis while going toroid farming. There's some like pretty funny situations you could make with this, where we could like, yeah, it was bad against one anti-MOA, but let's like put like 8 anti-MOAs together, and we'll see if it one-shots them. I don't think it's going to, but we can try it. I would say this one's not worth the rep in anyway. Almost killed him. So we're only using one set of this right now. If I had 2 sets, I probably would have one-shot them there. Okay, so you can be like a robot killing machine if you have 2 sets of these equipped, but the problem is you will not have Magus Lockdown equipped, and you will not have Magus Elevate equipped, or any other arcane you like if you're using 2 sets of these, which, keep in mind, keeps you locked into being useful against one type of enemy in a specific faction. Who knows what will happen? We're getting the Jupiter rework hopefully very soon, like next month I'm hoping. Maybe we'll get some new robotic enemies that we can actually use this against there. But as it stands, it's just useful against the Corpus robotics in very specific situations. Yeah, I'd say just bring Nidus, grab them all together, and then blast them. We're not going to do any gameplay for this video, guys, because I was going to take it to the sortie, but then I realized the sortie had enhanced shield robots. So it would just look very underwhelming if we took it there, okay? So yeah, thanks for checking out the video. We are getting the Melee rework on PC, or a small part of the Melee rework on PC this week, so I'll be streaming that and also making videos like the same day of how I'm feeling about it. I know it's going to be a nerf to my playstyle, but that's okay as long as the game feels better overall. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with losing all the really good stuff I rolled my ribbons for, as long as they do a good job, okay guys? So I will see you very soon. I hope this video was somewhat helpful to you. And to show you how underwhelming Magus Overload is. If you have any suggestions for arcane videos you'd like to see in the future, just let me know in the comments. Alright guys, you have a nice one. Peace.